Hi there, some of you may have seen the videos that I put on YouTube about my gear shift mechanism that I built for the kit car. This time I want to talk to you a bit about the handbrake mechanism I've built. But before I go into that, and incidentally that's what you're looking at, before I go into that I want to talk to you a little bit about why I've built it and what the issue is that I had. So for one reason or another I've had to fit the handbrake lever to the right hand side of the driver's position as opposed to the centre of the car as you'd expect. Now the problem that gives me is that in order to connect that handbrake lever to both rear wheels via handbrake cables, one cable would need to be much longer than the other. Now that's the case in the Porsche 944 and they get around it by literally doing that. Now the reason why I want to avoid that is because I think that if I use completely different length cables, incidentally one is going to be about 2.5 meters long and the other less than a meter, so significantly different. I may have problems balancing the handbrake pressure and tension a bit later on. So the other way around it is that we need to somehow connect the leverage from one side of the car to be able to move both handbrake cables, and therefore both handbrake cables can be short and of even length. So to demonstrate what I mean, I just want to show you very quickly on the board that I've got here. So what we're looking at here then is basically the layout. So we've got driver side rear wheel, passenger side rear wheel, okay, and then we've got the handbrake lever as you can see on the right hand side there. So the system that Porsche use is simply this, that they have one handbrake cable that's really long that goes like this and connects there, and they have another handbrake cable that's far shorter and goes to there. Okay, so the way that I'm going to do it, the way that I'm going to avoid it, so let's just get rid of this for a second. I'm going to do something entirely different. What I need to do, or what I want to do, is have one short handbrake cable here and another short handbrake cable there. Okay, so clearly we need some way of operating or pulling both of those evenly via this lever on the right. So quite simply then, what we're going to have is a shaft that runs across the centre of the car, so that's a solid shaft, and then a short piece of cable that will operate one end of that same shaft. So you've got a lever here, a lever here, and a lever here. Okay, so when the handbrake cable is pulled, when the handbrake lever is pulled, it will pull on this cable. This will rotate the shaft, okay, which will in turn pull that cable and then pull that cable equally. Okay, so that's the principle. So let's have a quick look at how I've got round it and what I've done. So basically what you're looking at here, I'll show you the whole thing all the way along there, is the shaft that I just mentioned. This here is the lever that's going to be attached to the handbrake, actual handbrake lever. Okay, this is the lever that's going to be attached to the driver's side handbrake cable, and then way over this end, this is the one that's going to be attached to the passenger side cable. Okay, so I just want to, before I go into how it was made and what it's made of, let's just show how it works principally. So you can see that when I move one end of it, hopefully you can see the other end as well, you can see that both handbrake cables move. So in situ, the lever will be pulling this, which at the same time will pull that, and the other side equally. So looking at the construction then, you know me by now, most of it's either going to be stainless steel or aluminium. So essentially these levers are stainless steel made of 3mm plate. As you can see, they're shaped and drilled on the ends to accept the connections to the various cables. This here is a single piece of stainless bar. It's actually around this long, so it's pushed into the tube about this far. So it's machined to the right sizes to fit the various bits. Okay. This here is a 6mm thick steel bracket. I'm afraid you can't see it too well, but that's what's ultimately going to be welded into the chassis to hold the whole thing. Okay. Forget these pieces. This is just so that I can demonstrate it to you. So what's in this bit then? So this is an aluminium bush. Okay, I machined that up. Inside the aluminium bush you can just see a nylon bush, which is what this thing is actually rotating in. Okay, and then to connect the tube, this is stainless steel tube, it's about 2mm thick, but to connect that tube, which is essentially the cross shaft, to this end piece and indeed the other end piece, basically there's a pinch bolt, so it's drilled right the way through and bolted there so it can't come out. Okay, exactly the same the other end. As you can see, I didn't have quite enough tube to do it in one length, sadly, so I had to sleeve it and weld it together. And then, so the other end's exactly the same. So an aluminium outer bush, a nylon liner effectively, a pinch bolt, and a stainless shaft. You can just see the end there, all TIG welded on. It looks a bit messy at the moment because I haven't cleaned the welds up, but I might actually sandblast this back to make it look nice and shiny, but ultimately it won't corrode, which is what I'm after. So that's it, that's how I've done it. So just one last look at it. So that's what's going to happen. I will be pulling this with the handbrake lever. That will pull one cable, and that will pull the other cable. And just to prove it, if you don't believe me, I'm operating the cable there and you can see how well that works. Okay, so a bit later on today I'll be welding these 6mm brackets into the car so you can see exactly what's going on. Yeah, so that's it. Many thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you soon when I have something equally interesting to show you all. Thanks a lot. Bye.